DnD players of Reddit, what's your funniest adventure story? We were fighting a friend's homebrew Pathfinder boss, and it was thrashing our party. We were all almost dead, and it was grappling me, the healer. I was playing a race that had a natural 1d4 bite attack. In desperation, as it was about to grapple me to death, its turn was right after mine. I bit it. My stats meant I was never going to out-grapple it, and I'd already tried and failed twice to break free, so I bit it. Met its AC, and rolled a 4 for damage. This was just enough damage to kill it, and watching the GM's face fall when I successfully hit it, then got the 1 in 4 roll I needed to save my life and probably everyone else's, was magical. He went from barely restrained, cackling glee to just, oh. Haha, this is great. Reminds of the time my fighter had his sword sundered from his hand by a UNTI boss. My guy was seriously hurt, and the DM, assuming my guy was pretty useless without his weapon because it went tumbling down into darkness, turned to fight our cleric. In a moment of desperation, I grappled the snake bastard and told the DM I wanted to snap his neck. In his typical DM smugness, he chuckled but let me try. The monster was almost at full health, so he said I'd have to roll a 20, and then, because we do location and severity, I'd have to roll a 10, location, and 12, severity. The dice were in my favor. Smiley face, snapped his neck like a twig. DM's face was priceless when I dropped his boss like a sack of potatoes. A group of friends found a DM on a bulletin board and decided to give his campaign a shot. This DM also decided to play a hero character that was apparently a super badass. It became very apparent that we were all there just to support his power character fantasy. Oh, did you say funny? I thought you meant horribly sad. So you guys were basically the sidekicks to his DM jerk-off session. Brings a whole new level to playing with yourself. I wanted to introduce my friends who were new to DnD to unconventional RPG stuff like running instead of staying until you die or sneaking. We play goofy and have fun, so not super serious. Anyway, I put a dragon in a room they had to pass through so they could sneak or just run. It was a wizard's pet, so they should have been fine. One guy was like, I'm gonna try to talk to it. And I was like, okay. Not what I expected, but he isn't trying to kill it at least. So he strikes up a conversation with this dragon and everyone else is sneaking by. I should mention he's a dragonborn fighter. A couple of back-to-back critical skill checks and he's smoking a cigarette after a romantic encounter with a dragon. There once was a gnome bard that loved the ladies a bit too much. She convinced a dwarven princess that they were destined to be together so they could sleep together before heading out of town. The dwarven princess sent letters, but the bard never responded, and eventually the dwarf became obsessed. She summoned the god Eros to terrorize a town and took a potion of gigantism when the bard said it was over, and the party had to fight a 2-story tall emotionally unstable dwarf. My first experience with DnD, I DM'd a Christmas special for our lass and my best mate. I had planned to have an angel patrolling as either a decent sneak section or a tough boss fight. My mate decided to flirt with her and rolled a crit check, so they suddenly had the most up NPC ally to go kill evil Santa and his shithead reindeers with. Was a little gobsmacked to say the least. One of the DMs I gamed with in college made a 1 to 100 chart for criticals, 20s, and fumbles, 1s. One campaign I was playing a thief, DM rolls a random encounter with some wolves. Easy enough, as we were mid-level by that point. Except the wolf fighting my character scores a critical. DM rolls his percentile dice, comes up 69. Yep. That wolf bit my character's junk off. Postscript, doing some service for a god, my character got a new dick towards the end of the campaign. Gods just handing out dicks left and right these days. Back in my day your dick stayed broke. But seriously, I'm glad you got your junk back. Did the god upgrade it to possibly larger and slash or blacker? I didn't want to press my luck. Besides, this was an elf. My brother-in-law has either bad luck, or a knack for making bad decisions. Of course the best stories involve his characters. 1. I forget the circumstances, it was a long time ago, but he was playing a paladin that had earned the nickname the Butcher of Waterdeep. 2. Same paladin character, during an adventure, the group was in an inn, a local prostitute offered her services to the party, and guess who accepts? The paladin. He went upstairs with her. He had some serious repentance to get his paladinhood back. 3. Another campaign, the party was stopped for the night in the woods. His character, a fighter, was on first watch. The DM rolls a random encounter, the fighter hears something and goes to investigate. Discovers it is a bear. He decides to kill it. Alone. Charges it, rolls a 1, misses critically. The bear gets a hold of him. The DM was trying to be very generous and give him a way out, but he just wouldn't take the hint, so he keeps trying to fight, thinking he's gonna be just fine in his armor. Nope. He realizes that he is losing and begins to yell for help. Unfortunately the rolls were bad and nobody in the party heard him. He done got eaten. The rest of the party was well rested the next day, but they had no idea where he had gone off to. Man, okay. I know at least one person from my gaming group is on Reddit, so this should probably be under a throwaway, but I'll risk it. My character was just getting introduced to the party. I had played with them before, but had moved away for a bit and was introducing a new character. However, I was attempting to introduce myself while actually in the middle of combat. Ended up getting into a room with the whole party in the inn they're staying in. Guards advancing on us from two sides. Our big dragon-born paladin was blocking one set of doors, but the other was undefended. Our very mischievous goblin monk cast minor illusion on the other set, put up a small "Do Not Disturb" sign. We all giggled about that a little bit. It fooled two separate guards. Our DM's face when he rolled and lost the first time was awesome. His face when he rolled and lost the second time was priceless. This is back from the first proper group I played with high school, playing a half-elf paladin. It might have been my first session, I don't quite remember. I somehow got separated from my party. I was at the top of a small tower, whereas everyone else at the bottom fighting the mini-boss we found. The fight had been going for a while. I was feeling impatient and wanted to help. So on my turn I asked the DM a series of questions. How many turns will it take me to get to the bottom? Probably 3 or so. How high is the tower? I don't know, maybe 40 feet. Is that survivable? Not without some kind of injury, but I guess so. Why? I'm jumping off the tower. I think by that point, the DM was tired and wanted the session to end. Cause he let me impale the mini-boss as I fell and it killed him instantly. Laughing face. We were getting pretty messed up by a blue dragon that was breath attacking us while hiding in a relatively shallow pool. Finally fed up, our lookator charged forth and executed a graceful flying lariat onto the dragon's neck and began to viciously donkey punch it. Preoccupied by the fact it was now wearing a crazy fantasy Mexican as a choker, the dragon had trouble fighting the rest of the party. He was rolling so well that the DM declared he was strangling the fucker, and as a consequence it could no longer use its breath attack. Unable to shake him off and getting whittled down by ranged attacks to which it could no longer retaliate, the dragon took to the skies in an attempt to buck him for fall damage. This probably would have been a sound idea for the dragon if its attacker wasn't a glory-seeking maniac. After getting quite high in the air, he restrained the dragon's wings with his stupidly high grapple skill. No longer able to fly, they began to plummet while he shouted his wrestling slogans like a Mexican version of Major Kong. The damage from the impact killed them both. TL, my friend has an unhealthy wrestling obsession, and a cooperative DM let his homebrew lookator kamikaze a blue dragon in the most lucha libre way possible. Blessings from the random number god. Like, comment, and subscribe for endless natural 20s on all your adventures.